Hello, and welcome to our second show of In the World's Borough, a program designed to showcase the musical talent of Queens and to teach you at home some foundations of musics around the world. For 3 episodes, In the World's Borough will feature music from Brazil, Spain, and Irish America. Each of our artists will perform and teach us some basic skills of their musical traditions live. And we welcome your comments and messages on the YouTube comment section throughout the performances and lessons. In the World's Borough and all of our 2021 season could not have been made possible without the sponsorship of the Department of Cultural Affairs, New York Community Bank, Resorts World Casinos, and the Max and Selma Kupferberg Family Foundation. More importantly, we thank you for tuning in and constantly supporting us during this pandemic year. Tonight, we welcome Nueva York Flamenco City, a collective dedicated to teaching and performing Spanish flamenco around the city. The members of Nueva York Flamenco City are singer Alfonso, dancer Cianix Barrera, and guitarist Adrián Alvarado. Will transport you to Andalusia, southern Spain. They will demonstrate the beautiful art form of flamenco and show you the footwork, castanet playing, singing, and guitar music of its rich and diverse cultural heritage. Again, this is an interactive show, so please ask questions and comment on the YouTube comment section throughout the show. Members of Nueva York Flamenco City will gladly address your questions. Finally, please visit our website, www.kupferbergcenter.org, to find out about our summer programming, where we will return with live performances of our yearly Live at the Gantry series starting on July 20. With that said, let's bring Nueva York Flamenco City to our studio.
Vamos allá, que sí, que toma. En la puerta correo mi arma tú me has citao. Tú me has citao. En la puerta correo tú me has citao. En la puerta correo mi arma tú me has citao. Tú me has citao pa' ir a la lumbrera por bacalao. Pa' ir a la lumbrera mi arma por bacalao. Y tú te empeñas en ir a ver a la murga. Y tú te empeñas en ir a ver a la murga. Mi arma de regadera. En la pila del pato mi arma te conoció. Te conoció. En la pila del pato te conoció. En la pila del pato mi arma te conoció. Te conoció. Y he contado los lunares de tu vestido. He contado los lunares mi arma de tu vestido. 90 y tanto entre verde y azules. 90 y tanto entre verde y azules. Mi arma morado y blanco. Vamos ya. Me asoma a la ventana mi arma de realito. De realito. Me asoma a la ventana de realito. Me asoma a la ventana mi arma de realito. De realito. palito y vi un chaval moreno, toca palillo, y vi un chaval moreno, mi arma toca palillo. Castañuela pregonan que Antonio, Castañuela pregonan que Antonio, mi arma y España entera. La Malena y la sorda, mi alma como bailaba, como bailaba, la Malena y la sorda, como bailaba, la Malena y la sorda, mi arma como bailaba, como bailaba, y un Rafael Ortega, viva la gracia, y un Rafael Ortega, mi arma, viva la gracia. Allá la vea, yo ya no voy a verte, allá la vea, yo ya no voy a verte, mi arma, porque está muerta. ¡Alza! ¡Ole! Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Also, we would like to thank you, the Kupferberg Center for the Arts, for giving us the opportunity to perform for you and to talk about flamenco. Before we go ahead with the rest of the program, I would like to introduce my friends, colleagues, co-workers, Adrián Alvarado on the guitar, Cianix Barrera, dancing for you tonight, and my name is Alfonso Cid. Muchísimas gracias. Thank you so much. We would like to show you now how the castanets work. Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. You just saw a number called Sebianas. And in this particular number, we use the castanets. And here, I have two accompaniment. Ahora, sorry about that. Here we are. So the number you just saw is called Sebianas. And in Sebianas, which is a traditional folk dance of southern Spain, we use castañuelas, or castanets in English. They are either two pieces of wood or fiberglass that are held together by string on my thumb. With my right hand, I play all four fingers. With my left hand, just the middle finger. And with practice, daily practice, I can go even faster. So if you want to try it with me very quickly, just sit up wherever you are, put your arms out in front of you, and with your right hand, if you're right-handed, or with your left hand, if you're left-handed, you're going to play all four fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. And with the other hand, you're going to do just one. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And little by little, go a little faster.
Ole!
Ole! Muy bien.
Okay, and now I'm going to give you a little bit of a historical background of flamenco. Flamenco was born in the south of Spain, in a region called Andalusia. And flamenco, as we know it today, is only 200 years old, although the roots of flamenco go back many centuries. We can, I mean, in the Iberian Peninsula, if you look in the map, it's in between Europe and Africa, and the Mediterranean and the Atlantic. So the Iberian Peninsula is a crossroads. And many, many cultures went through that land. We can go back to the Romans, the Celts, the Greeks, also the Visigoths, but the conquest of the Iberian Peninsula by the Arabs and the creation of the culture of Al-Andalus was key for the development of flamenco. And then from there on, the gypsies also came from India. Also in the 15th century, Portugal and Spain started
their role in the slave trade. So we also have African influence in flamenco. As I said, the gypsies, very important, and also the folk music of Spain, and also the Americas. Also, the colonies of Spain were part and a key development in flamenco, and all of that created what we have today. Flamenco is basically a romantic recreation of all the folk music of Spain. And now I'm going to sing for you a malagueña and two styles of fandangos, verdiales. Ole. Alza.
Ni quien se acuerde de mí. Yo no tengo quien me quiera, ni quien se quiera acordar de mí. Que el que de gracia y tonase no me merece ni el vivir. No me merece ni el y a esa liebre no tirarle, cazadores de la sierra, y a esa liebre no tirarle, porque está haciendo en la tierra que madriguera para ser mare y es muy sagrado lo que cierra. La muchacha de ese barrio me la tiene sentenciada. Es que me la tiene
Thank you. So, what I just sang is malagueña and two different styles of verdiales. And as you can see, flamenco singing is full of ornamentation, of melismas, as we call them in Spanish. And also, when flamenco singers sing a song as a soloist, there is normally a tendency to start with a very slow tempo style of flamenco, like I just did, the malagueña, and then we pick up the tempo and we introduce the rhythm and we go into the verdiales, which are two different kinds of fandangos. So this is something that if you do your research at home and get deeper into flamenco, you will see that is something that happens a lot of times. And now, let me look at the cues, 1 second. Yeah, we are going to listen to our friend Adrián Alvarado talk about the guitar, and then he's gonna play a little bit of a guitar solo.
Hi, good evening, friends. So I think the most interesting, flamenco guitar is fascinating by all means, you know. I've been involved in this my whole life, and it's still like certain areas of it are still a mystery. But I think the thing that most people ask me about flamenco guitar is, what's the relationship between flamenco guitar and classical guitar? What's the difference? Why you have a thing that is called flamenco guitar and it's not the same thing? Well, there are many reasons for that. Yes, it's on. See? Okay, sorry. Yeah, there are many reasons for that, but mainly there are two big reasons for that. One is the instrument itself. It's built in almost certainly the same way, but not, because the whole pulse of the guitar, the touch of the guitar is very different from a flamenco guitar to a classical guitar. And that's due to the balance between the saddle and the nut. So this allows a flamenco guitar to have the strings a little bit closer, so it's much more percussive. That usually classical guitar are not. And then the other factor that is embedded in flamenco itself is the technique. So you have a number of things that are only pertinent to flamenco guitar. For example, the lore of everything in flamenco in general, in flamenco guitar in particular, is about precision. It's precision in all matters, even precision in the way you're going to convey an emotional message. So another thing that you have, this is the picado, the scales in flamenco, they are done in a different manner than in the classical technique. So, and then you have another element, just to end my exposition, so to say, that would be the whole thumb technique, alzapua, and sequences for bass lines in flamenco. So thank you so much. And I would like to play a bulería, a composition of mine called Dos Estrellas.
2 stars.
2 stars. Sorry.
Vamos ya. ¡Ole! Ole, Adrián.
Ole, muchas gracias.
Congratulations so far. What a wonderful opening set of a few songs. We are so enjoying it. I'm so happy to see you all here and to meet you finally. And I want to just remind everyone on YouTube to please write some questions in the chat. It's time for us to ask any questions that we have. We've got people from all over, and I'd love to just take some of your questions. And I see Noe Kider asking and talking about the amazing quote. Wow, I've never heard it put that way. A romantic recreation of all the folk styles of Spain. That's brilliant. When you were teaching us about all the different folk styles that are meshed together to create this wonderful flamenco music, you mentioned Spanish, Arab, and African influences in the birth of flamenco. And you've talked about a few of the techniques of each of your instruments. Are there specific techniques or styles that you might be able to connect to each of the influential cultures? Is there anything that we should listen to in particular?
Actually, yes.
Yes, there are. Yeah.
No. I think I can be heard here. Actually, yes. In the case of the guitar specifically, the whole thumb technique derives from the oud technique. The oud, I don't know if you know, it's the king of the string Arabic instruments, not only Arabic, Persian and Turkish and North African in general. And this technique is alzapua. And so the whole myriad of rasgueados, of strummings that we have, they are consequence of many things, but also heritage from the Baroque guitar and many other things, and the vihuela. So, and the reason that they are so integrated in the guitar is because guitar was mainly invented to comp the singing and the dancing specifically. So the whole rhythm emulates the dancer.
Right.
Yeah, I will also add that the guitar is basically the granddaughter of the Arabic lute, of the oud. So there you go. There is the, and then we will talk about other influences from other cultures for sure. Yeah,
absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's a really important memory of just all the different peoples who have been involved in the creation of this wonderful style and technique. And I wonder, you've told us a little bit about the origin story of flamenco. Can you tell us anything about the origin story of your own ensemble? How did Nueva York Flamenco City begin? Talk about yourselves a little bit more.
Okay, well, I am a native of Seville in Spain, and I've been living here in New York for the last almost 24 years. So, and I have to admit that when I arrived to New York, I was mostly like a flamenco fan, a flamenco aficionado, but I did not know how to sing for dancers. And it was because of the professionals here in New York that I learned how to accompany dancers. If you go to Spain, you will realize that over there, the main attraction is the singing and also the dancing and the guitar playing. But over there, when you are into flamenco, you are more into the flamenco singing. So when I came here, I saw, I mean, the only way I can make a living is by accompanying dancers. So I had to get my job, I mean, my act together.
And
Sianix?
we actually met yesterday.
No, that's not possibly true.
I was seeing if you were paying attention. Well, I started dancing here in New York 16 years ago. And then ever since then, every year, every 2 years, I would save up all my money and go to Spain and to study for 3 months and then take classes here and go back and forth. And we have been dancing and performing and singing together for a few years now. Adrian is actually the newest cat in town. What 3 years, 4 years you've been here? Yeah, he started accompanying my dance classes, and then now he's a central part of the community here. How did you get here, Adrian?
Well, I met my wife in Panama, and she's American. And when she was transferred by her job, it was a very prosaic story. But it's all for love, of course, you know.
But you
Love and practicality.
Yeah, and then I came here to New York. That's the story how I arrived here. How I arrived to flamenco, though. That's a different one. So I was born and raised in Brazil in a Spanish family with some elements, like my grandfather was kind of an aficionado. And then I got totally obsessed with flamenco guitar when I was like about 11. So that I couldn't sleep, that kind of.
It haunted your dreams.
Yeah, I received a tape from my family called Solo Quiero Caminar from Paco de Lucia, and this recording changed my life.
Wonderful. We have another comment from YouTube. Gymnast987 says that they're watching with their 2-year-olds and 4-year-old girls, and they pretend to be flamenco dancers all the time. Thank you for sharing your talents with us. Sianix, do you have any recommendations for getting young dancers, people who are interested in this style of dance, to learn and be taking it more seriously?
Absolutely. I mean, for the babies, for the 2-year-olds, you can put on YouTube videos, and just them watching, they will be, automatically engaged, and definitely listening to music. Spotify, on YouTube, on Pandora. Flamenco now is so much more accessible than it was before, and my youngest student is 2. I've taught as young as 2. So it really, if you're, let's say for our viewer, if your daughters are already expressing interest, maybe ask them, would you want to learn with a teacher? And then give me a call. But depending where you are, there's teachers everywhere, so I would put them in and get them a little skirt if they like skirts. If they're not a fan of skirts, get them, a vest or a fan, props work, little baby castanets, and they'll take off from there.
Wow. Will we learn any more tonight about the attire of a flamenco dancer? That's part of the experience too, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, it is said that polka dots bring good luck. So, I brought out all my polka dots today. But, I love getting dressed up because the costumes are so fun. Usually when you are dancing a certain style that accompanies a certain emotion, then your costume can reflect that. So, if we're dancing a happy song, you want bright and lively colors. If you're dancing a more melancholic song, you go for the darker tones. And then you have, like I said, the props, you have the fan, you have the castanets, you have the shawl, we even dance with a cane. The shoes are fun. We get to make noise with our shoes because aside from being dancers, we're also musicians, you know, so it's a lot of fun.
It all ties together.
Yes.
Well, we will have another opportunity for more questions and answers. And if you are watching and joining with us on YouTube, please keep them coming in the chat. We'll keep an eye and bring your comments and questions up at the next Q&A session. So I'd love to turn it back over to Nueva York Flamenco City for the rest of your program.
Gracias.
Okay, now Cienix Barrera is going to perform for you Alegrías de Cádiz. This is a big dance number.
Si alguna vez tú vas acá y te pasea por la viña, si alguna vez tú vas acá, comprenderás por qué se canta con tanto gusto la alegría. Hay que se miden las palabras y que se mecen la medida con la bomba que tiran los fanfarrones. Se hacen la gaditana, tiran buzones, prima, tiran buzones con la bomba que tiran, ay, los fanfarrones. Alza, ole, los dos. Toma, 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 toma. Que calle una población que le gusta pluma mía forastero. Toma. Que calle una población que le gusta prima mía forastero. Allí solo se quiere alegría, allí no se encamela lo serio. Ay, qué caray, qué caray, qué caray, qué caray. Mire usted qué cosas que pasan en CAI. Ay, que la hambre la vamos a sentir. Que mire usted qué gracia, que mire usted qué gracia, que mire usted qué gracia que viene este país. ¿Cómo? Ole, Sianix! This is not easy, guys, especially when she is expecting a baby. Ole, Sianix! Ole!
Okay, this is when cardio comes in handy. Do your cardio, kids. So let's talk a little bit about communication and expression. I talked a little bit about how the costuming helps the expression. So alegrías means happiness. And if I did a good job, you saw that I was happy, right? But like how life, you have your moments of happiness, drama, sadness, whatever. So the number itself has dynamics. I'm happy, and then there's a moment that is like a duet between Adrian and I, and the music is softer. So I'm more contemplative or whatever. Unlike Indian classical dance, right, which has its root in flamenco, we don't have mudras, right? But we do use our hands. So there is no meaning necessarily behind our hands, but we do, as dancers, want to embody a little bit of what the singer Alfonso is singing and Adriana, the guitarist, is playing, right? And there is nonverbal communication happening. So at no point did I tell them, okay, guys, I'm gonna stop. With my body cues, they have it difficult, right? They not only have to know how to sing and play, they also need to understand the baile, the dancing. So they need to understand my cues, and I also have to be very clear with my cues that I am about to stop, I'm about to start, I'm about to go faster. Many different things happen, and we communicate that. So we don't necessarily need to rehearse because everyone has a role and each role benefits and helps the other.
And our vocabulary.
And our vocabulary.
And we understand that vocabulary.
Mm-hmm.
And when we see those cues mean something to us.
Vice versa, yeah. And so flamenco is a structured improvisation. There is a structure, but there is room for improvisation. So for example, I am dancing the middle section, right? It's called a silencio, which means silence, right? But not silence that nothing's happening, but just duet, more
no?
the duet.
Between the guitar and the dancer.
It's more, it allows me to breathe, right? And let's say Adrian gets inspired and he wants to play even longer. And I see that, and I'm not going to cut him off. I'm going to go with him, or Alfonso feels inspired to sing me another song, another letra. So I'll dance that, or maybe I want to dance some more. So I will dramatically look at him and
I will have to react to her expression, and I will have to give her what she's asking me.
We're human, so mistakes happen, right? This is a live art form. We do not press play and it will be the same every time. I'm 8 months pregnant, and let's say I'm tired, and I'm gonna cut my solo a little bit short. So let's go home, boys. And they see that, or my skirt has a hole in my shoe. It's happened. My shoe gets stuck in the skirt, and I'm almost gonna trip, or I fall, or Adrian breaks a nail, right? Which
it happens.
It happens. So
it happens.
Adrian didn't mention. I'll tell you really quick. So Adrian, on his left hand, has short nails, and on his right hand has long nails.
It's kind of creepy.
It's creepy and so funny, but I love it, right? Because he has 5 picks. So they some of them have acrylic nails, and they're playing with their fingers, not a pick. So many times it happens that our guitarist will lose a nail, the acrylic nail, okay? And then he has to fix it quickly. So, Alfonso and I can improvise there. Or Alfonso forgets his letra. And he'll make it up.
Letra means lyrics.
The lyrics, you forget
the lyrics of the song. And
so we have to be
we
able
have to make up something.
Exactly.
So to cover, because we are collaborating, and to cover, if I forget the lyrics, so maybe Cianix could do one more turn around with the footwork and stuff like that, and then maybe that will give me time to remember
exactly
the lyrics.
Well, that doesn't affect me anyway, because I'm doodling all the time anyway. So
that's also the beauty of flamenco, right? Because it's so improvisational, but it has its structure. It's not we're just making everything up. We have an idea of what we want to do, but that changes, and that's okay. And when the 3 of us are really vibing and really gelling and really understanding each other, that's when you are really inspired and you're like, oh my God, that's amazing. And then it gives you the goosebumps.
Yeah.
So, ole.
And for instance, we also can communicate with our hand clapping, what we call in Spanish, las palmas.
Palmas.
Las palmas. And we have 2 sounds. We can make 2 C's, to the shape of 2 C's with our hands, and we can cup them together, and this is what we call palmas sordas, or muted hand clapping. So we can create dynamics. Okay, and then we have also palmas claras, or clear sounding hand clapping, and we get the sound by hitting the 3 fingers in our hand. We leave the pinky out and the thumb, and we make a little bit of a fleshy cap in the other hand, and we pop. And we can go very loud, or we can also go very soft. So we can also create dynamics with those.
Yes.
And now we're gonna do a little bit of a solo, and you see how with the rhythm also we can communicate.
Yes.
This is completely improvised. We know the structure, but we don't know what is gonna happen. So let's stand up.
Dun, dun.
Let's do it. Venga, por bulería. 1, ta, ta.
Casa. Casa. Ole.
Ole.
Yeah.
So we were improvising. We were also responding to the chord progressions of the guitar and what he was playing as a soloist. And since we react to that, we know what to do within the structure. Right. But that's the thing, is we don't know exactly what is going to happen. We are improvising.
We're playing.
We are playing around.
I can't remember what I'm curious to see the recording. Actually, I'm curious to see the recording. I was improvising. I didn't know what I did. I mean, I can't really remember note by note what I just did, just was cool.
Yeah.
It felt that way, though.
And now we are going to talk about what we call in flamenco los cantes de ida y vuelta, or the songs of round trip. And I really believe now that mostly all flamenco is a form of round trip songs because of Spanish history and because of we had those colonializing tendencies. We had a very close relation to the Americas.
Right.
And in the middle of the in the end of the 18th century and beginning of the 19th century, this rhythm came from Cuba and is called el tango. There are posters of the shows of the time in the middle of the 19th century that says se bailará el tango americano o el baile de negros. They will dance, the artists will dance the American tango or the dance of the black people. And this was a dance and a song and a rhythm that came from Cuba, and it spread throughout the entire world like gunpowder. And yeah, like it went all over the place. And this rhythm has in its DNA the Habanera pattern. We all know the Habanera from the opera Carmen by Bizet. And this rhythm was so popular that it influenced not only flamenco, but also ragtime. If you listen to the music of Scott Joplin, pum, 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 pum. The Entertainer, pum, 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 pum. Pum 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 pum. So that also has the Habanera pattern into it, the rhythm from from Havana. Also, O Sole Mio, Napolitan songs also are Habaneras. Pum 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 pum. O Sole Mio,
Ole.
la 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 la. And even today, we have this pattern embedded in the Jamaican dance hall and the reggaeton. Tum, pa, pum, pum. Le gusta la gasolina, le gusta la gasolina. But if we play tangos, you will see.
Esa.
But the flamencos adopted a new way to do the palmas, and it goes like this. And then we also have the Cuban clave to do the breaks. So the Cuban clave is also part of this rhythm that came from the Afro-Caribbean culture, our Afro-Caribbean heritage, and it spread all over the world. And this is how the flamenco musicians and dancers reinterpreted this new rhythm that came from Cuba. This is going to be the last number of our show. We are really, really happy and delighted to be here with you. And Cianix is going to dance for you tangos. Ay, pa' Nueva York yo me he venido pa' Nueva York, de la mano de mi Martita, que es la que camelo. De Nueva York yo me he venido
yo me he venido pa' Nueva York de la mano de mi Martita, que es la que camelo yo. Ay, camelo, 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 camelo yo. Que no te arriba a los salsa. Que los salsa le tiene puya y rompe los delantales. ¡Vamos ya! La que quiera madroño vaya a la sierra, ole morena vaya a la sierra. Y que se están secando mi madroñera, ole morena mi madroñera. Dame, 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 dame la alegría de yo verte, que con eso tengo bastante. Que la alegría de yo verte, que con eso tengo bastante. ¡Vamos allá! Que ya, 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 y cachito de pan. 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 Que ya, 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 y cachito de pan. Ya, 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 y cachito de pan. Ya, 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 y cachito de pan. Ya, 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 y cachito de pan. ¡Alza!
Eso! Ole! Congratulations! What an exciting performance. What a wonderful show. My goodness. We have a lot of comments. Particularly, we've got Carlos Giuliano saying ole. And and we've got Hans, who was really excited about your performance of Gasolina there for a minute. Alfonso,
yes.
you just killed me with
Hans
Gasolina.
like that one. Love you, Hans.
Amazing. Well, we have only a short time left. So there's one question that I think is very interesting in the chat that I wanted to bring up, and it might be our last question, but you might be able to speak to it. Jacqueline Rivera asks, what's the difference between singing Gallego and Flamenco?
Oh my God.
How much
Very,
time?
I mean, the thing is, the Galician people are from the northwest of Spain, and in Galicia they speak Gallego, which is a language very similar to Portuguese, and also their folk music is very influenced by, or maybe influence. I think is very Celtic, because the Celts settled in that area of the Iberian Peninsula. It wasn't called Spain back then. We are talking about thousands of years ago. So it was the Iberian Peninsula. So there is a very strong heritage of Celtic music. They also play bagpipes. So it's very, very different. Even though Spain is a nation today, a modern nation, a modern state, throughout history, Spain has changed, and a lot of many different cultures have settled in the Iberian Peninsula. So we have a very rich heritage of many, many different cultures. And I don't know if there is much of a connection between the folk music and dances of the northwest of Spain. I think they have to do more with Irish folk music in a way. than with flamenco. Flamenco is in the very south of Spain, and Galicia is in the northwest. And by the way, I love Galician folk music. There is a beautiful band called Milladoiro that is beautiful. I love the folk music from the northwest, from Galicia. Yes.
That's a great question.
Thank you so much for addressing that. It was a very informed question. I think someone knows a lot about music. And this is a question from our YouTube chat from Diego Campos, who has a question for Cianix. You mentioned studying in Spain regularly. Can you speak to your experience? May you talk more about that experience and how that experience made you grow as a dancer?
Great question, Diego. Seems like you want to go to Spain. Well, so Diego's a student of mine, and he has been studying with me. And as flamenco students in the US know, it's very scarce and it's very expensive, right? So you have, for example, I teach twice a week a certain level, but if you go to Spain, you get that Monday through Friday for a fraction of the price, right? So, I felt like I wasn't learning fast enough. I wanted, more information, but of course, living abroad or being abroad is also its own expense. So that's why I could only go every year or every other year for 3 months. Sometimes I can only go for 1 month, but it's like an intensive course of study. So I was able to, let's say if I went for a month, I could go Monday through Friday, and I would take maybe 4 hours of class. So maybe 2 hours in the morning. We know about siesta, right? And then 2 hours at night. And
Spanish yoga.
The Spanish yoga, we got to rest, we got to eat, and then do it again. And, it's the thing about Spain is that it's also a cultural immersion. In New York, you can only study, but it's not like you can go down the block and see a juerga. A juerga is a flamenco jam, a flamenco impromptu party. But in Spain, it's abundant, and they go till 12 o'clock the next day, so shows are also much more accessible. You can see a tablao show almost every day.
What is a tablao?
A tablao this is actually a tablao. We are cuadro flamenco. This is a flamenco trio. It can be a trio, a quartet, a quintet, where we offer flamenco, like flamenco cabaret performances. So those are very abundant in Spain. You also have theatrical shows in Spain that happen very often. So if you can manage to save some money and you can manage to go away for at least a month, if you can do 2 weeks, that's fine. But if you can go away for a month, I highly recommend it because you're thrown into the flamenco world.
The universe of flamenco. How wonderful. Well, it is exactly 8 o'clock on the dot. And I want to thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wonderful job. And we want to just share your social media presence so we can find you. And so you're all on Facebook, and I think you're all on Instagram as well. Would you like to share how we can find you on those medias?
No website at the moment.
Okay.
But you have social media.
Yeah, but I do have social media. Yeah, my website, it's Alfonso Cid, Alfonso with an F, CID.com. And also I have Instagram, Alfonso Cid, NYC. And in there you can find information. Also, I have a band in which, because my other musical love is jazz. And I am lucky enough to be a member of the new Bohaira jazz flamenco band.
Olé.
And I have the incredible honor to perform with my friend and pianist Jesus Hernandez. He's from Granada, and 2 old jazz cats from New York, Tim Ferguson on the double bass, and Mark Hollen El Flaco de Flint on drums. And we do our thing. we do our thing. We fusion flamenco and jazz.
My website is Xianix.com. Don't type to Xanax. Okay, Xianix. Xianix.com. Social media is Xianix Barrera Flamenco. And thank you, Elise, Teresa, Andreas.
Yes.
Ole ustedes. Muchas gracias.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And Carlos.
Thank
And Carlos
you.
as well, yeah.
Thank you so much, all members of Nueva York Flamenco City, Alfonso, Xianix, and Adrian, for this inspiring performance and your lessons. We want to remind all of our viewers this evening to please visit www.kupferbergcenter.org for more of our exciting programming, including live at the Gantries at Gantry State Park in Queens, in-person outdoor concert series, beginning with the salsa band Super Mambo on July 20th. So you can come out and celebrate Colombia's Independence Day with some salsa. And we're
Viva
Colombia.
so happy to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
to our viewers. Gracias.
Thank you to
Buenas
our
noches.
Thank you.
Que toma, toma. Ay, que toma, toma. Ay, patillita.